ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। In the last class, we were talking about working with Kashayam. Actually, Vedanta is completed in one sentence, in fact, 3 words. Tat tvam asi, tat tvam asi. You are that. Means what indeed you are looking for, that is you. With these 3 words, you are that, Vedanta is completed. But that you are that, to be converted, another 3 words, aham brahmasmi, aham brahma asmi, I am Brahman. And this journey from these 3 words to that 3 words, we can say that paroksha jnana to aparoksha jnana, one has to travel mentally a lot. And this traveling is managing one's own kashayam. And this kashayam management will be much more convenient when a moksharthi becomes upasaka, does upasana, not meditation, okay? So morning I meditate, evening I meditate. Good, at least you are better than other people. Without upasana, it is very difficult to manage one's own kashayam unless you are, we call as yoga bhrashta. Means in previous life you have done all upasanas, this life you may not need. So that is an exception, not a rule. And at the same time, if the person only does upasana, engrossed in upasana, and mainly sakama upasana, you know sakama means keeping something in mind, begging to the God. If this will happen, I will break one coconut. If I will win election, now I am going to you with kneeling, crawling, then I will go, rolling. This is Tamil Nadu example, okay? Now, again I have to call God because I don't have majority. What to do? So these are called Sakama Upasana. So in Sakama Upasana, I do not manage my kashayam. I hope you understand what is a kashayam, okay? Yesterday, last class, we discussed in details. You can say my strong impression, my impulsive behavior, my unresolved subconscious mind. But we don't put all these words because it has got its own. So we use one word called kashayam. It's a very nice word. Now, what happens if I do all Sakama Upasana, whether it is puja, dhyanam, no problem. I don't handle, I don't manage my kashayam. In fact, I strengthen, I sophisticate my kashayam. In fact, my kashayam becomes more stronger, more subtler than earlier. It's very nice, and that is not the purpose of teaching either. This is the last verse, 13, 14. I need to work with my kashayam to reduce the impact of my kashayam and bringing to an end. Very nicely, that's why Vedanta is not only in the classroom. Vedanta, if you ask me personally, as I see more and more, Vedanta to be learned under a teacher directly. And the teacher is very clear, if discovers you have kashayam, teacher will push you, go for karma yoga. Without any murmuring. And if you do karma yoga with murmuring, better leave the teacher. Go back wherever you are. Better for you, better for the teacher. Or else what will happen? My kashayam will be different day by day. I'll give you one small example. This is very popular example. Small examples, but makes very stronger in this aspect kashayam. As you know, we have a lot of stories, especially about Dhruva, a small boy. So when he was thrown away, let us say, pushed away, not thrown away, pushed away from his stepmother, by his stepmother, and was not allowed to sit on the lap of his own father. This is a psychological trauma. Young boy, small boy. He was not allowed to sit on the lap of his own father. Because stepmother said, it is not your place. You cannot. Because sitting on the lap of father means tomorrow sitting on the throne. Can you see how this kashayam works for others differently? The insecurity of the lady. Now, when he goes to the mother, his mother said, why are you worried? Why are you looking for this, transient, temporary father's love? Our ultimate father is God. Look for his love. And this small boy goes to the jungle without thinking anything, wants to see the God and wanted to sit on the lap of the God. That was his, push. And interestingly, when you decide something without thinking back, everything opens up. Whereas when you decide, looking front, back, all sides, nothing will happen. So when he goes to the jungle, Narada appears. Devarshi Narada, not ordinary person. And Narada becomes his guru, gives him mantra, chant. And when he started chanting mantra, Narayan had to come down to see him. And of course, he was being given a padam, abode, not a small throne, called Dhruva Padam, which exists today. The morning star is called that. In the early morning, you see a star, so that morning star is called Dhruva. So we believe that Dhruva is there. Or you can say morning star represents Dhruvam iti. Just observe this example. Background of this example, let us look at. Because from our childhood, we have heard this example. So that child gets inspired, not to feel rejected. Whereas Vedantic interpretation here is entirely different. What is that? The story goes, again differently, that a group of sadhus doing meditation for years, but they are not able to see God. Forget about Dhruva Padam. So they had discussion. Hey, look, we have been doing years. Lord doesn't come to us. Whereas small boy just did few days or few hours, whatever. Now God comes down and gives the best. That means God is partial. So the first complaint, frustration goes to others. Why and how? That's another story, okay? Let me not get into story mode today. Then one of the senior sadhu listened to it. He said, okay. Then one day he took them, let us go for a long boat ride. As they were going long boat ride, there is a fear we have to come back because it's being evening, we have our own rituals. Sadhu said, don't worry, let us go. What is there one day? Let us go further. As they were going further, they saw a small island, and interestingly, they saw so many these ant hills. And some of the ant hills, 1,000 years, some of the ant hills lesser, and one was very fresh, like maybe some 30-40 years. And all of them went, what is all about it? What is this? That time, this old sadhu said, I don't know, but my guru, guide, one day brought me here. I thought of to bring you all here. What is that? He said, look, all these ant hills, you can see age-wise, represents one life of Dhruva. So Dhruva was doing meditation all the time. He was working with his kashayam. This is the most important aspect. But the last one, what you see, when he was working with the kashayam, very carefully, strongly, suddenly, one day, one group of people, especially with the king and all his group, were passing by a boat after conquering one island. And this great Mahatma, who was almost completing his Kashayam, one thought came, wow, what would be to be a king? You understand? One Kashayam. What would be to become a king? And this Kashayam was there in the mind, and of course he left his body. And when he left his body, as per Bhagavad Gita, the thought that is predominant in you during your death time will become indicator, will be deciding factor for your next life. Now, he was born in the royal family. And when he was born in royal family, quickly he understood, he got the opportunity. That's why as a child, he had to live all these royal things. And again got tuned. So this is all about working with one's own Kashaya. And here he uses this word, you need to do, resolving your Kashayam. Until and unless I resolve my Kashayam, I will never become free from fear. I may have everything. Remember, Kashayam is the worst enemy in my life. That's why it says, Antaha tyaktya kashayasya nirdvandasya nirasisah yadruchaya agata bhogaha na dukkhaya na tushthaye iti. The verse number 14. That person will have na dukkha, na tushti both, na dukkham, na sukham, with reference to bhogam, with reference to experience, not necessarily enjoyment, okay? Bhoga means also experience. So with reference to bhogya vastu, object of experience, the person will neither have pain nor will have pleasure. Only when the person is nirashishaha. So when you say nirashishaha means the one who is free from expectation. And remember, when you have expectation, you wait. Why do you wait for somebody? Why do you wait for someone? Including in a relationship. Imagine, why do we wait? Waiting presupposes expectation in me. And of course, stronger expectation, longer waiting time. That's why the most painful thing in life is what? Waiting. The example we give, especially in India, and that to Tamil Nadu, Chennai is coming back my old ones. You wait for public transport bus. Chennai is amazing bus service, okay? Those days, nowadays I don't know. Those days one of the best bus service in India was Chennai. Punctuality. They don't care whether people are there or not. It has to run on time means on time. And interestingly, because all are numbered ones, the moment you look for one particular number, except that number boss, all other number will come. And I have worked with it. The moment you change that number, no, I will not go to that, I will go to some other place, or I will go down halfway, from there I will find out. The moment you change that number, you visualize another number, you will discover all other previous number will come, but not your number. How it works, Murphy law or whatever law, it works amazing. And that is the most painful time in your life. Waiting. So here he says that I do wait because of expectation. And then what happens? When there is expectation, definitely I am not balanced. So when I am not balanced, means what? Sukham and Dukkham. That balance, not present day balance, okay? Present day balancing is in what? One electronic tuck, keep it. Oh, it shows. That is not balance, okay? The olden days balance. So there will be two sides. One side Dukkham, other side Sukham. Or you can change it, okay? Now, this Sukham and Dukkham has to be balanced. That is called balanced life. But unfortunately, what happens? You understand? It goes up, down, swing. So once in a while it comes, okay. That's why if any shop fellow does like this, will you buy? Will you rely upon that? Sometimes you may get less, sometimes you may get more. So he says this point, this free from, or you can say samattam, sukha dukkhayo samattam is called nirdandata. That can happen when there is kashaya tyaga. And kashaya tyaga is nothing called anta suddhi, anta karana suddhi ityarthaha. And the whole teaching boils down to anta karana suddhi. In fact, whatever class we are doing is nothing indirectly to help you to have antakarana suddhi. At least for 30 minutes, I don't know whether you are benefited or not, I am benefited, that's why I am trying to tell you. When I am not prepared for my class, I openly say, sorry, I have not done. Yes, I can bluff it easily. For me, bluffing is, you know how. That's why I tell I am bluffing and bluff. Have you not observed? I don't say bluff. I have not done homework. Means be ready. Today also class bluffing, okay, going on. But here you can see I am doing my nididhyasanam. In fact, the day I bluff, that day my nididhyasanam is stronger. Then you will say, wow, today class. Why? I'll tell you one more story. So that we'll stop it today. Okay? Now tell me, do you listen to others through the ear or through the heart? Nobody listens to anyone through the ears. And if you listen to others through the ears, I don't think there will be any teaching or preaching required. Somebody said beautifully that, do you know what? There is a difference between that God's gift and intelligent. So someone can be intelligent, need not to be a God's gift. Then how to explain? He says, look, a teacher is intelligent because a teacher can speak on a given topic for 2 hours. Whereas wife can talk for 2 hours without a topic. That is called God's gift. And imagine if the wife is a teacher. Disaster. Joke apart, we don't listen to through our ears, but always we listen to others based on our heart. In fact, when this was being taught to a student could not accept it. How is it possible? And the teacher had to show the demonstration. Look, they were passing by, they discovered 2 people are talking to each other, shouting at each other. And when both the parties shouts at each other, nobody listens to anybody. But everybody wants to be heard. You should, hear me. And I also listen to some of you also sometimes. Swamiji, you should listen to me. You should listen to me. Hey, who you are is so loud than what you speak, okay? Your presence is loud. I can hear. How you walk. How you move. I observe everything. However, the teacher saw, student and teacher, both of them saw, they were shouting at each other. But then in the evening, the teacher asked, could you hear that they were not hearing through the ears? No, they were so. Teacher said, okay, fine. When that student starts retaliating, better to keep quiet. The rule number 1 is in teaching, if you see a student start retaliating, even if slightest retaliation, that means that person is not a student. Is in the process of being student. I cannot reject. Is in the process of being a student. Then finally what happens? The teacher just, looked at something and again looked at some other thing. The student got up and picked up some water and handed over to the teacher. And teacher drank. Then teacher asked, did I say that give me water? No. Then why did you give me? Because I could feel that you are looking for water. So how did you hear? I didn't say. But I communicated it to you through the heart. And this can happen when the kaushayam is less. Whereas if the kaushayam is stronger, will I be able to? That's why we only make noise. Our life is full of noise. And what is noise? Noise is nothing, imbalanced way of living, sukham and dukkham. That's why start working with your kaushayam. Why and how? Please understand this point. With this we'll stop it.